Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike L.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. This last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up, what up, what up, and welcome on in here, TGIFF. It's Friday, baby. We're here, the weekend right in front of us and ready to go. Appreciate you guys dropping into Last Call here. Gonna have ourselves a show tonight. We've got the NHL buzzing around the rinks here. We've got trade deadline day in the NHL. So, we want to kind of proceed with caution, but a lot of the trades were made earlier this week. So, yeah, there was a ton of movement, but not by a lot of teams in play today. So, we should be good to roll through this NHL card. We've got college hoops tournament seasons here. We're heating up, getting ready to fire off. I think we've got 3 plays in college basketball tonight. And then the NBA, we've gotten some nice breaks out there as well. And we're ready to kick ass and take names in the NBA. Then, of course, it's Friday. You already know what that means. We bring in our UFC expert at JM Hockey 19 is going to join us here to talk about his favorite plays for this UFC 299 card. It's a big one, so you're not going to want to go anywhere as we put the bow on the show talking about how we're going to get that cash tomorrow night in that UFC card. Lots of fun. Can't wait to get rolling with everybody. You know the deal. You're just getting in. Smash that thumbs up. In fact, we ask for 3 things out of this show. That's it. Just 3. Hit that thumbs up. Help us crack the code. Promote the brand. If you like what you're seeing here, you like the content, you like what you're hitting for props, sides, totals, parlays, whatever, show the appreciation. Hit that thumbs up for us and let them know we're here doing this thing Monday to Friday, every day here, daily with Pub Sports Radio, getting after it on the regular, grinding out these cards. Second thing we want you to do is grab a pen and paper, not just for the plays that are shared here by our panelists, but the chat is oh so sharp. I love saying it. I love going back and forth with the messages. I love what we're building here. Just a community to share great intel, information, and all that last-minute data that we've been sitting on all day, starting to kind of come back together to give us that picture of how we're getting that cash. So you're going to want to write those plays down. And, of course, share your plays in the chat. We love recognizing what you guys are on. Love to see them. Love to hear when you guys are winning. And love to keep going forward with this thing here because it is a grind. We are working together. Everyone's trying to do the same thing here. We're all trying to get that money from those bookies' pockets and deposit it into our own, build our bankrolls, and, have some more fun money to play with. So that's what it's all about here on the regular with Last Call. Nobody does it better than us here between our chat, our panelists, using data, angles, trends, last-minute line movement, injury reports, all that information to come up with these unique spots to get this cash in. That's what we're trying to do here. Look, it's been a grind this week. We'll get into it. Of course, we'll transparency paramount to everything that's going on. But if you're just getting out of work, you're getting home, you're figuring out what's for dinner. It's that time. You're trying to figure out what you're going to have for a cocktail. It's Friday. Of course, you're going to have a cocktail tonight. Let us help you figure out what you're going to get your action placed on here so we can have some fun, make some money, and roll into this weekend with a nice big smile on our faces here. It's going to be a great show. I've mentioned that already. The NHL will start us off as always. Then we will drive into college basketball, move on to the NBA, clap it off with the UFC. But of course, we want to recognize what you guys are doing here. We see our guy, Swig Bets, new member there. I know he's renewing the membership, but it's always great to see the green, baby. Got to get to the green here. Pub Sports Radio, gold level memberships, horse racing, free opportunities to pick up $50 cash twice a week with Jimmy the Bag and Company in the afternoon. Don't have to be present to win. Just have to be a gold member. And of course, we have member exclusive shows going on out there. We did it this past football season there. The circuit contest entry exclusive to Pub Sports Radio members. Everybody got to vote. The top 5 selections made the card. That card got submitted, and away we went for NFL this season. Of course, we've got discounts to the merch store, all kinds of swag out there. Get yourself some hoodies, some shirts. It's barbecue season, man. There's pub rub up in that that merch store. So you're going to want to get those discounts associated with being a gold member as well. And appreciate everybody rolling. I see my guy Joe T again there. You know, it's a discipline to be the first guy in the chat, sharing his info as well. And he says, Mikey M, what up? Let's get that cash. Best bet is the Wild Avalanche first period over and the full game over for our guy Joe T. Going to the NHL. Love to see it, Joe T. Says, no college basketball best bet for the late games. Gave it out on Jimmy the Bag Show. I know he was on that Mercer Citadel over 139. I'm going to be sweating out that Citadel spot there. You know, Citadel is definitely not a comfortable team to be betting on. Bunch of points in the pocket, though, so we'll see what happens here in the second half of this game. Ron Lofton's in the house. There's Swizz. Gerald Jones, happy weekend, Pup family. Best bet from our guy Gerald Jones as Western Illinois, Little Rock, under 135. There's our guy Keith. Every stride, he says, what up, Mike M? Let's cash these plays tonight. TGIF, my guy. You got to add an extra F. We'll talk about that extra F when we get past that 8-minute mark. Let's go. Patrick Burns in the house. Love to see our guy Patrick Burns in there, guys. He's posting free plays all over Twitter. Make sure you're following him if you're not already. He says, what's up, guys? I got Ohio -3.5 for his best bet tonight. Likes the under in the Drake game and Drake -12.5. I have a feeling Drake does their business tonight. I think they hammer them boys as well. Ron Lofton says he's on Akron in the first half -4.5. Got to get them zips, baby. It's Maction tonight. Friday night Maction as they're wrapping up their season. Coin says, what up, Mike and chat? Let's have a Friday. The Indiana under 228.5 got there last night thanks to the impressive ant block situation where we're on the opposite sides, man. I mean, that was great on you, bad on me, but it is what it is. Let's keep rolling out there. Wine Time Sports says, what up, Mikey? Let's get this cash. Shout out to my guy, Wine Time, my brother from another mother. Rocco Rogers says, what's good, crew? Mike Wilkerson in the chat. He says, Cavs money line. We're going to talk about that game in the NBA. Nunya says, oh, we winning, gang. Let's go. And there's Chris M. Chris Manriquez says Jarrett Allen seems to gobble rebounds without Mobley out there. Man, that Cleveland team in general seems to put boots to ass when it comes to their players being out. It don't matter. They've been out all season. Let's just keep rolling. Nunny says Razor made me a whopping $800 today. Of course he did, man. That's what Razor Sharp does. Of course, Razor Sharp, our guy, is incredibly sharp. He's on an impressive run in all of sports, and it makes sense. There's a good guy. He's a giver. He goes out there, he spends his time on all kinds of programs, all kinds of shows, and then he puts out that free content there on Razor Sharp. Racing with Razor. Go out there and follow our guy, Razor Sharp Picks. It's great to see his success. Ron Lofton says, need Citadel +5.5. Need a second half out of these plays. Yeah, we got the play of the day riding on that one here. So we got a new play of the day out there, having some fun this afternoon. Then he says, about to flip a bag. Ron Lofton, very nice, Dunya. Let's go, our guys. Dunya says, it's flooding. I woke up early to unclog the drains and my family land. Oh, man. Well, be safe, my guy. Get the canoe on the side of the house just in case you guys got to make a quick exit out there. Pub Sports there. Our guy T on the ones and twos says, pour up a cocktail and smash the like button for the pimp out there. Our guy T on the ones and twos. You know, he keeps it tight and right for everybody out there, keeping us moving like a well-oiled machine out there. Nanya says, got so dirty and my golden retriever named Georgia Lee running around in the mud with me with jams blasting from the truck. Nice, my guy. That sounds like a mess. Make sure you wipe those feet before you get back in the house. Juggler 23, Jets cracking over 5.5 in that game. We'll talk about that game. Open nets making it hard not to go over a 5.5. And Joe T says, oh, I forgot. Best bet. He's got an NBA spot for us. He likes the Heat Thunder over 224. And yeah, none is talking about that cash he got. There's our guy, Bo Jackson. Salute to you, my guy, Bo Jackson. It's great to see you in here. I know you're always sharing your best bets as well. Nunny says that last exacta was $480 and paid $336. All right, man. That's good cash. I don't know, was $480 and paid $336. Not sure what happened there, but hey, cash is cash, my guy. Jay Peasy's in the house. If you don't know, Jay Peasy wrote the intro, my guy, all of Pub Sports Radio. He's keeping us jamming away as we rock into these shows out there. He says, tailed you on that under 72 in the first half of Radford. That rabbit hole was glorious. Man, that was sweaty. You know, kind of could see the way that Radford was playing that ball there. They kind of got scared after going up monsters early in that first half. They tightened up. They were playing that kind of clock ball out there, draining the clock, and that never works out in the long run. But it did cash us that first half under, so that was a great way to start the day. Let's go on here. Nunya says, I'm on Akron first half money line. leaning. I missed the damn window. Swin says accurate out there. Winner's Circle has that Jay Butler, Jimmy Buckets, over 22.5 points in that Miami game for our guy Winner's Circle. Thank you for sharing. There's Rocco Rogers says, moved on Utah State money line, minus 132 for tomorrow. Little juicy, but the line seems ridiculous, and he thinks it's going to move a lot. Side note, Rocco Rogers, appreciate you spelling a lot properly there. If you don't know, then you're going to want to write that one down. Yeah, it's 2 words. I don't know why it's a pet peeve. It literally goes all the way back to my 11th grade high school English teacher, and appreciate you spelling that right, Rocco Rogers. Good on you, my guy. Oldie says, what up, you dogs? Got the boxing on monitor, too. Oldie, throw a shout out there to let us know what's going on with Ngannou there. I sprinkled a little prop on him to go the distance. I know that it seemed like the play was going to be the other side in the knockout, but we'll see what happens. Nice little plus money spot. He got robbed that last time out there. Judge's scorecard, and that scorecard didn't look the way I saw that fight. But anyhow, Julian Cesario says, what up, Pimp? Let's roll. Marcus McCarthy says, hey, Mike, a.k.a. the Pimp. And there's our guy, Fernando Mendoza. Thanks for that under 71.5 in the Radford game. Yep, man, let's go. That's what we do here. We had to get a little afternoon cash, and I got a little afternoon cash and some tennis as well. So lots of fun. Anthony Ramon says, what up, Pimp? Oral Roberts, Drake, Pepperdine, Moneyline Parlay. Best bet there for our guy, Anthony. We appreciate you sharing that. I like that look there. I like that Oral Roberts play. I know I heard some guys talking earlier today about Oral Roberts smashing and cashing. And, of course, Drake, we just talked about those guys should be able to get the job done as well. Pepperdine, let's go, man. I'm going to root for you on that one, Anthony. Thank you for sharing. Nunya. Sorry, Nunya. I hate that, man. Ron Lofton says, Citadel down 4 LFG. Oh, man. I got the boxing kicking over here as well, but I'm a little behind on that too. So a lot of going on right now. A lot of balls in the air. That is the month of March. It's a lot of fun. The afternoons fly and the nights go even faster. So Nathan Cerna says, I'm all over UNC Cashville like a hot ham. Pimp slap. I'm not sure what to make of that. A hot ham. So, all right, let's go, my guy. I'm going to root for you as well. Ronnie Lofton says, on the Jimmy Buckets over 22.5. Also, Chase Final takes in the house. There's Coin. Got some Grizz +3 in his pocket. We're going to talk about adding that one. Oh, he says, I got Francis by decision. Yeah, that just seemed like the spot. I mean, time will tell. Like I said, I'm behind on that thing, so I kind of got to pause, not trying to see what's going on there. But yeah, 1,400. I mean, yeah, let's take a little stab at some big plus money like that to kick this weekend off. And Nunya, big bet on UNCA ? Subhuman Gaucho's in the house out there. Let's go, you guys. Nathan Cerna says, he's getting after it, is what he says. Let me just paraphrase what he says out there. He's getting after it. None. He says, can't wait to meet y'all in San Antonio. Palooza 3, right around the corner. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be that first weekend of the official big tournament. You know there's going to be plays flying. You thought it was crazy sitting at home on your couch watching games from 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. Wait till you're sitting around everybody, degenerate betting, playing cornhole, shooting darts, ripping down cocktails, and betting on ponies. It's going to be a ton of fun out there. I'm paraphrasing what's going on with this thing in Palooza. I've never been there, but I'm excited about it myself. Jay Smooth says the smooth balls play of the day because you know you got to keep them smooth. Smooth leads to clean. Clean leads to success. Let's go VCU Dayton under 137.5 for our guy, Jay Smooth. We'll talk about that game as well. Old Heat at Pub Sports Radio. Mike, just rewatched the whole Tyson fight. Not a robbery, but wrong guy won. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm connecting the dots between the robbery and wrong guy won. He should have won. It was a robbery, and it took a bunch of my cash with it, but it was still a good fight. Nathan Cerna on the Gardner Webb and Toledo spots out there, and let's keep rolling, you guys. Let's get into this thing, right? We always talk about recapping. First and foremost, we have nothing except our accountability in this game here, and it's important we do the daily recap. I'm going to break this stuff down. I think it's going to be over the weekend, so I can start to break it down by sport as we get closer to the final finish line here with a number of these sports to see exactly where we're up and down. But look, yesterday was a down day. It was 6 and 7 on the day overall, but we still made 0.2 units. So, hey, they could all be that bad. I'll be happy about that, but we certainly need to just get a little bit better out there. We got that Philadelphia under 6. No sweat, no problem, no issues whatsoever. Remember that one. The Florida Panthers on a Thursday. And you know what? Shame on me. You put those two together. You got a team in Florida on a Thursday that goes to the unders. If they're going to go under specifically, why doesn't the other team win? So shout out to them Flyers picking up the W, making trades and picking up dubs out there against the hottest team in the NHL. The Edmonton Oilers over 6.5. Wow. 3-1 first period. 4-2 final game. I was sick by that. Over 6.5. It's one of our most juiced plays of the day, too, at minus 130. That sucks. And then look, we swung for the fences with the San Jose Sharks. So despite it being a losing day, we were able to still get a little bit of profit, and we had some opportunities for bombs. That Sharks 245. Now, they were never in that thing. So bad look there. That trend there, we're going to have to take a look at that one a little deeper before we go back to it. But we cashed with the Minnesota Wild. That was a show ad. It's always fun to get the show ads and cash with those. We got Tennessee State +3. Sadly, their season's over in college hoops, but they lost by 2. They covered the spread for us. That's all that matters in the game that we play here. We got that Marshall money line. Some were scared. Others jumped in. I jumped all over that Marshall spot there. That was a nice little win. And then the Southern Illinois Salukis. You know, C-Mac had talked about how he can't win with them boys. And you know my philosophy, cover or get fucked. They lost the game. They did, in fact, get fucked. And, you know, shout out to our guy C-Mac, too. I know he was talking about that Sam Houston side. And I said, at +9.5 or whatever the number was, I said, would it surprise you if they won the game? I know he and I were texting back and forth about that, saying, there we go. Look what happens. And, of course, they go out there and get the job done. So shout out to our guy C-Mac out there. Look, we talked about that Indy game, 228 in the over, didn't get there for us. San Antonio, though, them Spurs, no Wemby, no problem, +11.5 cashes for us. I thought they might have had a chance to win that game outright. We hit the Joker triple-double at +180. Remember, I talked about that one. Started out around +150, shot up to +200, and then right before the show, it goes down to +180. That was the right spot, obviously. But damn, where's Nasty Nate and his Boston Celtics? Were in the game, had a shot there at the end. And Boston dudes, you know, at least the Celtics. I don't want to speak about the whole city here, but them Boston dudes are weak as fuck, man. They can't finish games out for shit in some of these spots that matter. And that's another spot that happened last night there with the Boston Celtics. And then we lost that Golden State Warriors under 223.5. So not the finest hour. Been a grind this week, but we've been able to turn some profit. And like I said, we'll take a 0.2 unit profit versus a negative any day of the week. We're in the black is a good day out there. And Darius Moore says, we ain't never scared. Marshall got us paid. That was a great trend. That one's going to be active again this weekend and next week. So you're going to want to make sure you follow me along here. Jump back in, of course, the last call to hear about more of these numbers as they pop up along the window. Going to be a little trickier, though, because as we get into conference now, we've already seen the revenge spots out there. And all kind of bets are off for conference play. It's about finding those teams that just get hot at the right moment and can jump on money lines. I gave out that Bucknell spot on Jimmy's show yesterday, 5.5 and the money line. There's a situation where you find them getting the W, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Find them W's. Let's get rolling on the show here. Time to put the skates on selfishly, greedily here. I'm going to take a peek. I don't even know if I should be doing this, but I am going to do it. And Citadel is down 6 points. Plenty of time left in this game, though. Let's get rolling. Let's get into tonight's card. Like I said, excited about what we have going on here. And I got to find it now. Where the hell did it go? Where did tonight's card go? There it is. There it that would have been bad. I'd have been flying off the cuff. I think I liked this one. I think I like that one. In fact, let's talk some NHL, though, because we've got a 4-game slate tonight. Again, I mentioned the trade news out there. We've seen player movement across the board. It's been kind of an interesting trade deadline this year. I'm surprised. A lot of moves that I didn't expect. I did expect the Rangers to make moves. I did expect Carolina and Florida to make moves. Those are what I think are the 3 front runners in the Eastern Conference. Colorado made some moves. I expected that. Winnipeg made a couple of moves. I kind of expected that as well, but didn't really see much out of the Kings. Didn't really see a ton out of Vancouver. Some of these teams I thought were players here are kind of just sitting back on their hands. But let's talk about the NHL, and let's talk about this first game. The NHL. 9 p.m. starts for us here, so you're not mistaken. You don't need to refresh the scoreboard. There's 2 9 o'clocks and there's 2 10 o'clock games tonight. They're kind of making way for some of these conference tournament plays as well. So 9 p.m., plenty of time to look for this action, and we're going to jump in on this Red Wings-Coyotes game number 1 on tonight's card. And we've got Leon going in goal at 18-11-2 on the Detroit side. We've got Connor Ingram. There's that guy again, 17-16-3. This guy's played a ton of games, and he's been mediocre at best. Now, you look at these two teams. You got a 2.89 goals against average for Leon, 91% save percentage. You got a 2.85 for Ingram, 90.8% save percentage. Kind of an interesting little situation with these two teams here. certainly Mullet Arena, small attendance out there in Arizona. It's on the Arizona State campus. So definitely a small little house to play some hockey in. I don't think that leads to maybe a ton of noise here. It's going to be weird for some of these guys to still play out there in this small little barn. We got the Coyotes, though, on themselves a little 2-game losing streak, and it's home. Let's not forget they lost to Chicago 5-2. That was a spot where they were minus 276 favorites. They lost that game outright 5-2. Then they lost 5-2 last night to this Minnesota Wild team that we were on, of course. We got that 5-2 victory in our back pockets. And, we've got a restless team here. We've got tired legs at home for this Arizona team. We've got the Red Wings coming off a 7-2 buzzsaw whacking there. They took a big loss at Colorado. Now what you want to see, Leon 0-3 in his last 3 starts. He's been letting 4 more goals in each of those games as well. That's how you go 0-3. You get beat up. You get lit up like a Christmas tree out there. But in all fairness, his recent game was against Colorado. 5 goals on 40 shots. That was just a bad game to be involved with. If you weren't on that Colorado side, 7-2 loss is difficult. But I mentioned that second leg of the back-to-back here, and it's the rest factor that remains oh so dominant in the NHL. We've talked about the dominance of a road team starting a back-to-back spot. We have that going on tonight. We've also talked about the situation with rest and what exactly happens when you're facing a team that has no rest, a.k.a. their second leg of the back-to-back. The team that's going out there with the rest advantage is 469 and 215 overall. Big sample, plenty of opportunity to support the team with the rest. In fact, if you drill it down, there's a 51 and 10 spot for this advantage with Detroit in this rest position, 8-2. You look at Connor Ingram. I talked about this guy's mileage that he's taken, the tread on the tires. He hasn't won a game. No wins for this guy since January 22nd. He went the entire month of February winless, and he has not gotten a win yet to start the month of March. The Red Wings have won each of their last 10 games against opponents that are on a losing streak as well. It's the get right special with the rest advantage here. We're going to pop the card off here with the Detroit Red Wings. And this line's moving. We got minus 140s now. Jeez. I'm still taking it at minus 140. I just saying geez because it was minus 134 and I was right in that window. Caesar still has a minus 135, but we know they're delayed and behind. So we're going to go 140 FanDuel. There's 141s, 142s, 145s, and 147s out there. So later game, but grab Detroit now. Well, you can before this number gets to a place where you have to take the -1. There's our girl Mel in the chat says, Mike, I agree on the Red Wings tonight. Well, I like to be on the side. I prefer to be on the same side than against Mel. So love hearing that. Kelly V says Detroit team total under. Larkin out 2 weeks, leaning team total under. Lower scoring game, maybe. Maybe a lower scoring spot then, I guess, out there, Kelly V. Let's go. Nunez is a good parlay piece, question mark. Yeah, I think it is absolutely a good parlay piece out there. Ron Loft. Oh, Faden's Coyotes and winning money. I'm sorry, I'm catching up from the bottom up out there. But Daryl Benton's on the other side of Kelly V there, says Detroit team total over. So we got ourselves a little back and forth there in this one, and that's what makes this so much fun. But I just think the rest advantage, this Detroit team's trying to get back to their winning ways. Despite no Larkin, they still have Patty Kane out there. This guy's been fired up, man. He's been finding a way to get pucks going in the right direction. And I'm excited about what this Detroit team has in store. It's always fun to see Detroit back and winning. These original 6 teams losing is no fun for hockey. Coming off that Colorado game, I think they want to get back and get right. You kind of look at that stretch they went on. They lost 5-3 at home to the Islanders. But before that, they did beat that Washington team that was running hot 8-3, the Red Wings did. So then they go out there, they lose 5-3 against the Islanders. They lose 4-0 against the Florida Panthers, get shut out before going and getting buzzsawed in Colorado. I think the rest advantage plays to their favor here. It's kind of that perfect storm where they've got the rest, they've got the unrested team. It's buzzsaw night down there in Arizona. And you know what? Contrary to what you think here, I think these boys get excited to play in a college campus there. It's kind of a little different. The locker room's got to be fucking horrible. They got to be just bags of shit. Terrible is what I would imagine these locker rooms are. But that aside, lots of fun afterwards there. Little college bars to go partying out. And those boys are going to have some fun. I think it's going to open them up and loosen them up tonight out there. Mel says Larkin wasn't the issue here in Denver. They just ran into the buzzsaw. Yeah, 7-2. That's all I can say. They got buzzsaw. But let's go. Let's roll on to this next game in the NHL. Speaking of Mel and leading us in here, talking about the buzzsaw, game number 2 we're going to hone in on. I couldn't believe the numbers that I saw behind this. I had to double check it. I had to fact check the fact checker. Minnesota's going out there with Gustafsson, 17, 15, and 3. We've got Georgiev on the other side, 32, 15, and 3. And, on the Minnesota side of things, Gustafsson, 3.3 goals against average, 89.2% save percentage. There's some sketch stuff going on with these numbers here. Earlier today, there was no cash flow acknowledgement whatsoever. I think it's got to be related to the trading factors that are taking place. But, you break this one down, you start digging deep here. Gustafsson and Minnesota, yeah, they just got that game last night. But here we have this unrested situation. We've got the unrested team going on out here. Colorado, slight rest advantage with that extra day. It's altitude, so that's certainly going to be a factor for the home ice here. And when you put those two together, what do you get? You get the Colorado Avalanche, 15-0 straight up, 15-0 on the puck line when they're against an unrested opponent at home. And they're smoking those teams. They're winning on average over 3 goals a game out there. I went Colorado -1.5. And I love the fact that it's +115 here. You guys know what I feel about laying odds and juice. Not going to happen on this show. But in this case here, I actually thought about taking a peek at the 2.5s out there, knowing that they're getting that margin over 3. I don't want to get carried away and cute with it, but don't be afraid to slide that number on down the line there and see what that -2.5 looks like. In fact, let me just take a peek right now, just for context here. We'll see if it's going to be something I end up jumping into. But as I look to see what that 2.5 looks like, it's +160. So, you want to get aggressive. You want to go for it. Maybe you want to sprinkle on it. All good. I'm going to jump on this -1.5. I couldn't believe it. 15-0. Rest advantage at home and winning by a comfy margin out there. Anthony Ramon says, Avs in regulation of -145. Yeah, love it. Love everything about the Avalanche tonight. Mel says, Mike M., what you get in an electric building tonight? The city of Denver is pumped by these trade deadline moves. That's exactly what I thought. I thought, you got a team that's excited about bringing in new. Anytime your team makes a trade to bring in new talent, it's exciting. It's refreshing. And now you got this Friday night home crowd. Building's going to be packed. You got a tired Minnesota team. I think it's going to be it's going to be loud too. Don't forget about the volume. We just talked about the 5,000 people down there in Arizona. It'll be loud out there in Colorado tonight as well. And that might just mean an early departure for this Minnesota team. Love these boys. Love the spot for Colorado. Let's roll on. Third game in the NHL, and it's our oh-so-coveted spot here. Now, full disclosure. Well, first of all, not touching the Stars-Ducks game. I don't have any interest in that game. I didn't, frankly, I didn't even look at it. I saw the two teams playing, and I was like, just not interested in that game. The Stars should probably kick the shit out of them. The numbers are moving all over the place. It's a road game that I just don't want any part of it. But the next 10 o'clock game here, we've got Winnipeg taking to the road to play Seattle, the Kraken. Of course, we've seen lots of trades flying around the rink with these teams here and lots of movement taking place. Now, you could argue, some people are going to say, well, there's some value here on this plus money side, but you got Joey Decord going back in goal again, 17, 12, and 10. Remember, they were relieved when they got Grubauer back because Decord was playing so miserably. They needed to give that guy some rest, and he's going back in out there. I get it. But you got Bruce Waugh on the other side. For a backup goaltender, this guy's one of the best goaltenders in the league. He's at 2.24 goals against average, 92.1% save percentage. Decord's 2.47, 91.8% save percentage. I just think at the end of the day here, you could only be so fortunate if you're Winnipeg to have Bruce Waugh as your backup. You got Hellebuck, Vezina Trophy winner. I'm sure he'll get that this year, barring epic collapse and failure. And they've made a couple of key moves there to advance themselves down the playoff stretch. This is a big game to go out there and get this W. We've got 2 road wins in a row for the Kraken. And guess who they just beat on the road as a dog, the Seattle Kraken? The Winnipeg Jets. What happens when we got a home favorite that loses, goes on the road, and they're a road favorite? That's where we get the revenge angle. It's 543 and 282. Now, I haven't even looked at the chat. I'm sure somebody in here is going to say it. Let's take a peek here. But there's a sickness flying around out there in Winnipeg right now. That's what Hellebuck caught there, the illness, right? That certainly makes its way around the locker room, and I certainly expect that to be a little bit of a factor tonight. In fact, I think that's why this line's sitting down there around -122. But rise above it, get some hydration fluids in there, get the IVs going, whatever you got to do. You can't let this Kraken team back in the hunt in the Western Conference. I think Winnipeg knows that here. It's the revenge spot. It's the second time in back-to-back spots, these guys are playing each other. So the second game they just played, obviously that was a tighty. It was a 4-3 final score in that game. I think they're going to get their revenge tonight here with this Winnipeg Jets team, and that'll be the third place. Swig Bet says, missed Jimmy this morning. Love this time slot, though. Yeah, this is a great time slot, isn't it? Swig Bets, we get to put it all together. The benefit is sitting on all this information all day, hear what our guy Jimmy has to say, start watching the lines, see how they move, see where the injury factors come in, and then go out there and attack the card and attack these bookies. Let's roll. Mel says Middlestat will be playing on a line with Nikushkin and Drew Ann, and will be on power play too. Middlestat over a half a point at plus 105 is definitely worth a look. Mel, I wouldn't be afraid to take him to score a goal. We've seen a lot of these guys that come in as the key piece, not key piece, but as a step up in the offense, go out there and score. I wouldn't be surprised to watch him go out there and put a goal. I love the point, though. I'm good with that, too. Nice little plus money spot. But she says, I can't believe DraftKings is hanging a plus 105 on Middlestat over a half a point. My goodness. That's the advantage we have. Tracking these games, tracking these players, tracking this movement. The books do not have the opportunity to do that. That's where we lie with the competitive advantage. Let's roll on, guys. 200 plus hanging out with us tonight here on Last Call. Hit that thumbs up button for us. Show the support. You like what you're hearing here? You want to hear more of it? Jump on in. The water is fine. And hit that thumbs up for us as we move on to college basketball. And I'm so, whew, I'm a little relieved on this first game for college basketball. I'll tell you, putting these numbers together with T, getting everything right for the show tonight. And I don't think it's this first game we're going to talk about, but there's a little bit of last-minute movement here. So excited to see that. I wasn't happy with some of the direction that was going on, but let's get going on this. I got the old proverbial frog in the throat here. Let's talk about 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got ourselves 2 games that we're going to tackle here for 7 p.m. on the college basketball run, and then we're going to pivot on over to a later night special. It's not the late night special. It's going to be a late night special for us. So let's go on and talk about this first game in college basketball. We've got ourselves a little bit of action rolling out here. We got Ball State. We've got Bowling Green. Big game tonight for these teams here. We've got this line open at 5.5. It's down to 5s. Reverse line movement on the Bowling Green side. 52% of the bets and 70% of the cash, guys. I don't spend a lot of time talking about it in hockey because, frankly, I don't care. We know a lot about what's going on day in and day out. We don't need to see these cash flow spikes to help us figure it out. Sometimes it's nice to look at for reference, but in other sports, I think it rings true, especially football, college basketball, college sports across the board, and the NBA. And we look at the bets. We look at the money. The bets are the soup. It's everything. It's player props, parlays, teasers, $5 bets, $10 bets. That's going to be the bets. Then we look at the money, the cash. That's going to consist of the big bets, right? Somebody comes in there and drops not just the $5, and shut up, I'm not unit shaming anybody, but the $5 bets, the $10 bets aren't enough to get, Vegas and the bookmakers, on edge. It's the bigger bets that come in, the ones that they need to get approvals for. The guy comes in with a backpack full of 10 G's in cash. What are they going to do? Let's get the manager and get the approval. That's what we're looking for when it comes to that. And then how does Vegas react to those numbers? So when I say reverse line movement, with 52% of the bets and 70% of the cash on Bowling Green, that number's gone from 5.5 to 5. Kind of a red flag, right? You can still get some 5.5s out there, but all the money's coming in on Bowling Green and they don't care. On the other side of things, we've got a total moving here. 142. We've got reverse line movement on the total. 78% of the bets, 89% of the cash on the under. It's sitting at 143s and now 143.5. So we've got a full 1.5 movement from the original opening number between these two teams here. And that should be enough to kind of draw caution here. Ball State, the fact that Ball State's on the road here is kind of where I like seeing this total. They've gone 3 straight overs in a row. Central Michigan, of course, to kick things off. That was a road game. Then they went back-to-back home, Western Michigan and Kent State. Bowling Green, on the other hand, though, has been an under team on their home court. But all bets are off when you look at this team and the way they shoot. First of all, these teams love the three-pointer out there. Ball State, surprisingly enough, and this is where things get away. This is why they're inconsistent. They win one, they lose one, they win one, they lose one. They're shooting over 35.5% from the three-point line there. Big factor for these guys. But Bowling Green, despite the situation that they've got going on with some of their recent unders, these two teams found themselves to have a nice little advantage to the over. 4 of their last 5 games have gone over the number. 26 of Bowling Green's last 28 games against conference opponents have produced a total more than 144 points out there. Stat tracking on that one right there. Lots of time here looking at this over spot against conference opponents. Over 143.5 with the reverse line movement. All boxes say go. Let me just double check the best number that we can see here. And there's a 142.5 out there now. So we do have the opportunity. I guess we're probably seeing a little bit of buyback now on that number, probably because some of the public's coming into this thing thinking, wow, this number's high. The Ball State's gone under a ton. But, I think this is the situation where I just referenced Bowling Green and their overs, and I think that Ball State and their overs correlates to this game here. So 142.5 for us to open the college hoops card up tonight. Love the reverse movement as well. Got to just go back to the basics. That's something that's been working for us, especially in the NBA. Got to make sure we do a better job of that and evaluating that going forward here. Second game I'm looking at in the 7 o'clock time slot on the Eastern Coast here, East Coast, is this A-10 battle between the Commonwealth, Virginia Commonwealth, and Dayton. Now, I said, thank goodness, because when I was looking at this stuff earlier, this 8.5 had moved up to 9. But we're now seeing this thing's down to 8. There's an 8.5, just as I say it. So we've got a little ping pong action going on here. Look, Dayton's got this thing locked up here. They're not playing for shit right now. They're trying not to get injured. You got a situation where you've got 72% of the bets, but only 55% of the cash on Dayton. Everybody loves this Dayton team, and they're thinking this is the spot. The total's dropping. 138.5, 72% of the bets on the under, only 43% of the cash. Now, we talk about that money and how does the book respond. There's a lot of late money coming in now on this total going over because they're thinking that this 4.5 point drop is too many points. Probably the case in my opinion here. And I'm looking at VCU. I'm looking at a big college basketball trend, not just specific to a team, but, go back and look at how these two teams just played. VCU just handled Dayton 49-47 on February 9th. Not just handled them. I guess it's a month ago, but 49-47 on their home court is a 2.5 point dog in that spot out there. And then if you look at it on the other side of things here, second game, the revenge spot, is it in play? I don't think so. The reason that I'm kind of fading away from that revenge spot in this case here is, first of all, I feel way too many points for a team in Dayton that, like I said, they're locked in. They're already going to get the conference tournament, the NCAA bid. They're not playing for squat right now. 23-6 on the record on the season. It's Richmond who's tops in the conference. They're 2 games back. So it's not even like they can close the gap here to try to close the season out. It's their final game. So you got to sit there and question, is there enough motivation to get the job done out there? And despite the fact that it's home court, and I get it, it makes a ton of sense to me. There's a battle going on with VCU right now. They want to push forward and be one of the top half teams in this conference as they get ready for the tournament. The trend I was talking to you guys about, college basketball wide, when you have a road team that scores over 100 points the last game. Now they're a home favorite against the conference. They're 34-48 in those spots. The average line we're seeing is 8. They're missing the margin on that spread by 5. Doesn't mean that I think VCU lives this game outright. It just thinks to me that this is a spot where when I look at this, it makes me think when I look at this game that VCU at that 8.5 spot is too many points out here. We got VCU minus 110s. Again, 34-48. Not a huge margin. It's just a situation where they went down. They handled business that last game. Dayton did there, scoring 100 points on St. Louis. Difficult spot for them. They don't have much to play for here. And I don't think they want to get hurt. They don't want to risk exposure. They've got tournament locked up, big tournament locked up. They're just going along for the ride tonight. And Michael B says VCU is missing one of their top scorers. I agree. And I think that's why the line's 8.5. Because if you can remember 2.5 at home, maybe you get 3 for the road. That's 5.5 here. But, VCU, I think, can find a way to get it done. I know their top scorer's out. It certainly doesn't make me feel excited about it. But with all this cash coming in and their top scorer being out, why are the bookmakers kind of keeping us with a frozen line? So, Fanatical Jim, there he is. He's stepping into the ice there. He says Avalanche minus 2.5 plus 175. Fanatical Jim's best bet. Love to hear it, my guy. Good for you. Get that cash. I'll be rooting for you. I'm on the minus 1.5. And let's roll on, guys. We've got this late night opportunity rolling for us here in college basketball. We're going to make a move on out west, and we're going to tackle this Boise State, San Diego State game. What a battle this one should be here. Two pretty comparably situated teams. This line opened at 6.5. Now we have 54% of the bets and 82% of the cash on San Diego State. This line has moved to -8. That's kind of what you want to see when you look at correlated movement. So again, if you guys are new to the show here, we look at those buckets. We talk about it on the regular. It's a good refresher for anybody that's been here in an existing partay. And I think this is certainly something you want to look at. I love to correlate the favorites to the unders, just something that's been working for me. Then we look here. We're kind of flying a little bit in the dark, but we still have a little bit of a hat tip here, a little tell of the tale for what's going on in the total. 137.5 is where this number opened up on the total. It's down to 135.5. 58% of the bets, no visibility in the cash, but 58% of the bets on the under. And I see 135.5 is the number to take advantage of here. Between these two teams, if I was going to describe this game in one word, I would say defense. Both these teams are stellar on defense. San Diego State has a top 10 defensive efficiency team. Both these teams are locked down defense from three. It's the three-pointers that are the daggers when you're trying to root for an under. Those are just not spots you want to be involved with. And they're both, in fact, San Diego State and, as I mentioned there with the Boise State side, both top 35. One's top 10. The other one's, I think, 34 in the nation. So what does Boise State do really well on top of that? They got heart. Heart is the stat that I use to measure defensive rebounding. When you're holding teams short of second chance looks, they're number one in the conference in defensive rebounding out there, limiting second chance opportunities, which limits and reduces the score. You look further into this one, the last 7 times these two teams played head to head, it's gone under 133. So we still have 2.5 points in our back pocket on that side, despite the movement. In fact, the last time these two teams played, here's that 133. 67-66 final out there. We want to get this one tight and clean. 135.5. That's going to be the third leg of our tripod in the college basketball ranks tonight there. We're going to take a couple stabs early. We're going to take a big stab late, and we will keep it moving and get into the NBA. We've got just a couple of minutes before we transition on over, bring in our MMA guy for UFC 299. But we got ourselves a nice NBA card tonight. Man, that triple-double was nice last night for Joker there. I was excited about that one, and I think I found a little spot to parlay together. So let's roll on through this card here. I'm going to make an ad, too. In fact, I think I'm going to have 2 ads. Let me just double-check something as I'm talking to you guys aloud here. Where is it? There it is. Let me just double-check. Let me clear my throat. All right, Charlotte, Washington, going to be the first game that we open up this NBA card with tonight. And of course, we're looking at these numbers. We've got this thing dropping. We went from 3.5 down to 2, 71% of the bets now, 97% of the cash. I don't like to see a 97. That's the one number that does get me concerned. But we've got a little bit of reverse movement here as well. We've got 3.5s at -115. So this number's all over the place. That suggests to me that there's some injuries. Let me scroll on down and see. And I kind of reference this one and say, you guys know, biggest team on my shit list has been Charlotte. The Hornets, we have not been touching them. We've been fading them. And we've been trying to capitalize on Washington. But man, Washington's terrible right now. Seth Curry's out. Cody Martin's out. LaMelo Ball's out. Trey Mann's out. And Mark Williams are out for the Hornets. I get it. I got it. I still don't care. This is a situation for me where this trend opens up. If it was 2, this trend would be closed. But because it's 3.5 now, we are in business here. Road dogs between a 3 and a 7 off a home loss are 26-1-1 against the spread. The margin is huge. It's 11.5 points against the spread. Charlotte's a live dog in this one for sure, and then some if they've got rest, right? So this is that rest spot out there, which Charlotte does have. So +3 to +7 off a home loss with the rest advantage, 11.5 points against the number, 26-1-1. Give me them Hornets. We're going to see if we can bring them back into play on. These teams that are so bad the entire season there, we got to try to find a way to get on them here. And I think tonight's a good spot for us to take advantage of the Charlotte team. So let's roll on here. Game number 2 in the NBA. I'm going to go on over to Minnesota and Cleveland. Minnesota Timberwolves 64% of the bets, 82% of the cash on the Cavs. This is that correlated movement we're looking for. They were +1. They're now -1.5, and even twos. It's continuing to move here. 7:30 Eastern game. The total's dropping. Here's an interesting spot, though. 209.5. The total's down to 206.5. We have 3 points of movement on the total. We have 71% of the bets on the over, but 69% of the cash on the under. This is that prototypical pros versus Joes situation here. No disrespect again, but it's those $5 and $10, parlays and teasers that are pushing this over. But it's the bigger money that says under. And Vegas says, we don't care about all those little bets coming in. It's the big ones that are on the under that have us concerned. And now it's dropped to 206. I'm going to forego any of the totals on this game, though. I would lean to the under, but I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers here. I kind of foreshadowed this when I talked about this game early on, recognizing some of you guys there in the chat. Doesn't matter who's playing for this Cleveland team. They just find a way to battle. Now, they did lose to Atlanta, 112-101. A lot of people were on that Atlanta spot. I get it. It made sense. But prior to that, you could kind of see that letdown coming in hindsight. They did beat Boston 105-104. That's a big win against Boston, who was running hot after downing that Golden State team by 54 points, I believe was the final. The Timberwolves, they beat the Pacers 113-111. Mind you, thought that was going to happen. I even talked about that on Jimmy the Bag show there. I said, this is just yesterday, so we have the unrested team as well. But I said, it just seems like it's a weird spot. Despite Karl Anthony Towns being out, the first time you see a key player go out, you play on those teams, and they got the job done. Unfortunately, the total didn't get the job done for us. But road dogs or small favorites, when they have no rest, are 0-22 if they're off a win as a dog in that spot. So we've got an 0-22 fade away on this Minnesota Timberwolves team, and it fits the criteria. It fits the profile of the star player. The first time the star player goes out, you still play on that team. It's the games after that. One guy can step up in a gap in one game, but it's those subsequent games that you want to fade away. I'm rolling this Cleveland Cavaliers team, the 0-22 trend as well for us. Going to get it done there. We're going to take the money line at -120. Not going to play around with those points. Seems like it's still a nickel value in our favor. If you're looking at -1.5 at -110, you pay 10 cents a point. That should be a -125. We're seeing -120 on the money line for the Cavaliers. We got a nickel of favor on this number for us. It makes a ton of sense. Coin says UT Martin +8.5, Tulane -3.5, Western Illinois +6 in college basketball, and the Grizz at +3 out there for our guy Coin. Good to see that. Chris says Jared Allen 16 rebounds +340, worth a sprinkle ? There. Well, I've never talked you off a +340 spot, my guy. That seems like you got to go after that one. Terrence Morris says Ottawa money line. Not mad at that play. It's a little juicy, but not mad at that play. And Ron Laughlin says on Ingram over 25.5 points and rebounds out there. Let's roll. Coin says Martin Vig is -110. Tulane Vig is -110. Yeah, give him a whack. Go get him, my guy. Let's roll on and keep going in this NBA card. In fact, I did kind of reference there was going to be an ad here, and it is going to be that Memphis Grizzlies spot that I was looking to add in this game here. The fact is I was waiting for this line to move a little bit. We've got 3.5s now. It was kind of sitting at 2.5s and 3s. I'll give you guys the breakdown on the cash flow. 41% of the bets, but 85% of the cash on this Atlanta Hawks team. The total really not moving, though. 73% of the bets on the over, 84% of the cash on the under. You guys know I love when I get these tight spots here. This is the number that I was looking to see. What's happening in the money line when we're down to like a basket, this 3-point range? This money line has gone with 66% of the bets on the Atlanta Hawks side of things. It's gone from -155 to -139. Bigger money's coming in on this Atlanta side, and they're dropping the money line. And it correlates on the Grizzlies side. It went from +130 to +125. You guys know I'm not going to leave you without a nice little number to round this thing out as well. And that indeed I have. The wrong team there. The Atlanta Hawks 0-17 against the spread. The margin is 10 points a game in those spots. If they won the previous meeting by a point or lost outright on a line shorter than a +1 spot out there. So it is absolutely fade away on this Hawks team. I was waiting to see that money line up for us here. And I got 3.5. It's -115 for the 3.5, but I'm adding the Grizzlies. Shout out to you, Coin. I'm with you there, my guy. Let's get this Grizz spot there. I think it was Coin, right? Am I shouting out the wrong guy? Disrespect. I don't mean to be disrespectful. But But I'm on it. I'm on that spot. Let's rock this thing. Let's go. Book it up. Nania says book it up. Let's go. There we go. Let's get this game on us, and let's keep rolling. 3.5 for this Memphis Grizz team out there. Weird number, too, on top of everything else. Let's go to this Orlando Knicks game here at Madison Square Garden. We got a battle here tonight with this game, 7:30 Eastern. These kind of NBA cards are a lot of early games here, and then just a couple on the late side. 41% of the bets, but 77% of the cash on the Knicks. We've got this dog at favorite situation. The total is dropping like a stone, 211, 206.5. Now we've gotten 4.5 points down against the original number. 63% of the bets and 82% of the cash have dropped this total down, down, down. We've got this Orlando team. Actually, now this number's kind of flipping back. You've got 2.5s at -114. You got 2s at -110. Don't matter. We're going to double dip this thing here. We're going to do a little same game parlay here. We're going to Banchero, 25 plus points and assists. His number is sitting at 21.5. Earlier today, it did start moving up to 22.5 in some places out there. His points and assist number right now is sitting at 20. I want to say it's 27.5. Let me just double check. Oh, that's rebounds and assist. Points and assist is sitting at 27.5. So I'm buying this thing down 2.5 points. I'm teasing his points and assist number down. We saw his points number go up. We just need him to get a couple of assists out there. And I put Orlando in there as well. Now, we're going to count this as a plus 168. DraftKings does have a boost out there tonight. It's 100% boost. So can't get it at DraftKings. You know, I want to be transparent, you know, and go get that account if you can, but it's 100% boost means this thing shot up to over 326. I believe 336 is the number that I was able to get on it. So plus 170, 168 money line. Orlando money line coupled with Banchero, 25 plus points and assists. The Magic, 15-1 against the spread when they're a favorite or a small dog with a total less than 228 and less than 2 days of rest out there. And this one's pretty straightforward on the Banchero side of things. His stat line supports this, 22.9 points a game, 5.2 assists a game. The reason I didn't want to mess around with the rebounds is because the Knicks allow the fewest rebounds to opposing teams in the NBA. So definitely a spot I didn't want to kind of incorporate the rebounds. I wanted to go on the assist side of things. And he's covered the line in 3 of his last 4 games since he was out sick with the illness himself. So he's getting plenty of minutes, 32 minutes in all 4 of the games. The Magic are running red hot right now, one of the best spread covered teams in the country. We're going to forego those 2.5 points as the dog. We're just going to take them on the money line with the 25 plus points and assist. Again, use the boost. You can drop up to $100 on that one as I saw fit. And that's how we're going to roll this game out there. Ron Laughlin says now they show Ngannou fight tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time after showing 2 minutes to go in a fight. I don't know what's going on. I think they're over there in Saudi Arabia. So let's roll on there, you guys. There's a little same game parlay action. And this is our late night special before we bring our guy on to talk MMA with us here, getting ready for that big UFC card 299 out there, the pay-per-view event of the year thus far. Sugar Shane going out there, going to try to battle back and keep that championship rolling. We're going to talk about this Bucks and Lakers game. Speaking of championships, here we go to close up the card. And we've got a spot where this line opened up at +1, basically a coin flip. 57% of the bets, 91% of the cash now have moved this thing from Lakers -1 to Lakers +3.5. That's where you kind of want to see. If you're thinking Bucks, that's the correlation you want to see. Now, I don't like those 90% plus spots myself, but the totals where I drew my attention here, 236.5, 54% of the bets, 73% of the cash on the under. And that's exactly where I'm looking to attack in this game. Now, not mad at anybody. I was actually very close to pulling the trigger and adding this Lakers spot. So we know what happens when I tweet it out. So I probably won't do that, but who knows? Maybe I will get involved with it, but I'm looking at the under in this game. It's a great under spot here. The Bucks, first of all, 11-0-1 on their last 12 road games to the under. So they're just an under team on the road. The Bucks are 0-9 when they have 1 day's rest after a game that was a loss and an under as well. So you kind of got double spots for lower scoring Bucks games. And the Lakers, 27-1 to the under. The margin is 12 points when they're at home off a loss or a big win as a favorite if the line's -4 or longer. So this one does qualify as long as it stays at that -4. As long as we don't see, 4.5s or higher here by the time this thing pops off, and that trend is very much active. And we're still sitting at that 3 to 3.5 range. So very comfortable with that spot there. We still have another 0.5 point. I expect we'll start to see some buyback. The Lakers are a pretty public team as we get to the West Coast out there and late night spots. But the Lakers, the under 227.5. I know it's moved, but that's why we use the margin as that measuring stick. And we have almost 12 points there in margin to get this thing done for us. So that's going to do it in the NBA. Like I said, I don't know what I want to say a word, but I'm not going to say it. I'm close to betting on this. I'm close to betting on this Lakers spot here at plus 3.5. I just haven't pulled it. I think they're going to come back and get this thing done, but I don't know. Nunya says Buckaroonies. Billy Briz says Dame time, baby. Billy Briz, don't you put that on me. Let's go. Gerald Jones has been hammering live under Asheville and Coastal Carolina under 29-20 at halftime for our guy out there. And Swizz says Akron first half -5. Cash it. Shout out to you guys, man. Good stuff out there. Swig says Dutch is on the Bucks. Took it from the PSR website. Well, I don't like hearing that, but I mean, if I got to go head to head with our guy Dutch, then so be it. But I'm on the under. I'm officially on the under. It's 227.5. Fucking things moved a ton. I wonder if somebody's just officially out now. Let's just take a peek at this thing while we're actively discussing this game. LeBron James is out. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense why the number's dropping and why we're seeing the total going up. Why we're seeing the total dropping and the line moving further towards the Bucks. So, yeah, LBJ, fucking scumbag. What a dick. You know, it's a big game. It's the West Coast. It's Friday night. It's the Bucks coming into town, and he says, I'm out. What a fucking dick. Chris Middleton's out as well on the Bucks side of things. Dame Lillard is questionable, but we saw our guy Billy Briz saying it's Dame time. That's going to do it on the sports card tonight. But let's bring on our guy here. Coming off a 2-1 week. We didn't have him last week. He was out there going to some MMA events himself. Let's bring on our guy, MMA Jeff, to talk to us about UFC 299, baby. Going to be a big pay-per-view card tomorrow. Jeff, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm actually looking forward to this weekend. There's quite a bit going on. We got the one championship tonight. We got LFA later on at 10 o'clock tonight. Cage Fury's rolling. We got the the UFC tomorrow. We got Octagon 56 is on Sunday. It's a fight-filled weekend. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and what you got the new office there percolating behind you. I see you got some new digs there. He says Jeff in the house. Billy Briz says it's Jeff Holmes. Let's go out there. Big Scott says look towards D'Lo assist. He always goes over when Braun is out. And Swig Betts says JM Hockey crushes. Let's go. We're looking forward to seeing some crushing opportunities here to start this UFC card off. I know you gave us a 4-pack here. You got three straight plays, and you've got yourself a nice little parlay to talk about. So without further ado, let's roll into this card. We're right around the corner for 7 o'clock. We'll keep this brisk pace and put the bow on the show. But we got big event tomorrow. Everyone's excited about this, guys. If you don't know already, in fact, do we have the commercial? Am I putting our guy T on the fly with this commercial? I know there's a commercial out there. But let's see. You guys know the deal. There's a free UFC contest to enter out there via Pub Sports Radio. Go to the Pub Sports Radio website. All you got to do is register. It's free to enter, and you have a shot to win $100 every Saturday. We'll get the link out there in the chat for you guys as well. No strings attached to get the job done. All you got to do is make your picks and then follow along. They've got a watch party going out there, and you can see what's happening. Now, Jeff's a multi-time winner. I've recently won myself. And I'm going to look to get back in there. So full disclosure, I'm trying to get this W. But let's go. Let's kick off this first fight here. We've got, in fact, the opening fight of the card. We've got Joanne Wood and Marina Moros going out there to fight this thing off here. We've got the number 18 flyweight worldwide title here. Joanne Wood, number 18, the number 22. It's a battle royale here against the Iron Lady. Jeff, talk to us about this fight.
I picked a handful of these for specific reasons, and this one here, Wood's coming off of she's coming off a split decision win, which put her at 8-8 in the UFC, made her just 500. She's 38 years old. She's a little past her prime. I don't necessarily think she's going to retire after this one, but she's getting pretty close. Some of the guy fighters, they roll into their early 40s, but the women seem like late 30s. They're pretty much done. But she has 5 submission losses, all in round 1. I don't necessarily see that happening in this one. I think it's going to be a back and forth, grappling match. I think Morose, she has 8 of her last 10 fights have gone to decision. They're both, again, women's fights. They generally seem to go over. I think Wood has 13 decisions, or 13 fights went to decision in her pro career. If Morose doesn't sub her in the first round, I see this one being grappled the entire time, which led me to Morose by decision for plus 115 on this one.
Let's go, opening the card up. Plus money spot, the opening first night of the fights there, or first fight of the night. Let's go on to your next one here. We've got the gamer out there. Is it Mateus Gamrot going out there against Rafael Dos Anjos? Big fight here. The number 4 lightweight versus the number 19 welterweight. Talk to us about this fight.
This is another one where Rafael, he's 39 years old. He's got a lot of fight experience. He's 32 and 15 in his career, so he definitely has the experience. He's got 34 fights in the UFC specifically. So I was just talking the other day about this though. When these guys as well get up 38, 39, and you start looking back at their records, and he's another since 2018. He's pretty much been a win one, lose one type of guy. Gamrot obviously is the clear favorite in this one. I think the last I saw him was minus 470 or something like that. Obviously, I think he's going to win this one. With correlation from Vegas's or the bookmakers have the over 2.5 at minus 315. So they certainly see this fight going over. I think Gamrot. I think this is going to be another wrestling match. A lot of grappling. I think that when Gamrot is on the feet, he's going to show a little more aggression than Rafael there. So I think, like I said, I do see this one going over. The other thing that stood out to me was as I was looking at different prices. Does the third round start? If you're saying yes, that was minus 400. Which again, with correlation for the over, the over was 315. So I'm on Gamrot by decision at minus 150. That I do think he's going to win. I think it's going over, and I certainly didn't want to pay 470 for him.
Let's roll on there. I know coming off that big show that you had for us before, 2-1 here, we'll pay a little juice if we have to. We've got a plus 115, a minus 150. Let's roll on. Third fight before we get to the parlay here. You're going to want to stay tuned for the parlay. It looks like a banger. And boy, oh boy, we've got this one rolling here. The blonde fighter, number 5 flyweight in the world, going against Macy, the future Barber at 25 years old. Maybe she is the future, Jeff. Talk to us about this fight here. What are we doing to get paid?
I completely agree. I do think she is the future. She was in her interview. She was calling out Pena, saying she's not a very good fighter. I think that Macy's, again, up and coming, 25 years old. I don't think Caitlin's necessarily done at this point, but she hasn't fought since October of 2022. So I mean, she took some time off. I think she was trying to get pregnant. She was talking about it in her interview. So she had a lot going on mentally. So she said she was trying to get back into the ring just to take her mind off of that. But prior to the last 6 of her fights ended up going to decision. I think, Macy in the interview also mentioned that she thinks she's going to put her out. I don't personally see that. A lot of Macy's fights seem to be on the ground. Again, like most of the women's fights, nothing against it, but they just seem to be on the ground and doing a whole lot of grappling. There's not a whole lot of striking. There's a couple out there that do like to strike, but and again, from a correlation, the odds makers have the over 2.5 at minus 350. So the odds makers see this one going over. I like Barber. I didn't want to pay the 210 or 220, whatever the hell she's at now. So I ended up with Barber by decision, plus 105 on this one.
Let's roll, guys. We got 2 plus money spots. We got a little juicy opportunity for the 3 straight plays. Let's bring us into the big guy that we're going to get paid with here. And just kind of talk us through this one and let us know your thought process. Let's go into this one here. It is a little 5-leg UFC parlay. Now, full disclosure, there are parlay prop boosts out there, guys. You know the deal here. I've said this before. We try to capitalize every single time we see one of those things that's out there. So you want to take advantage of the boost like we talked about in the NBA. You've got a parlay boost in the UFC as well. A couple of books have those here. And Jeff's given us, in fact, this multi-leg parlay for the UFC, Jeff. The floor is yours. Take it away.
This was kind of I don't say a square parlay, I guess. Obviously, I took the 3 fighters that I like by decision, but I just took them straight up. So I tried to minimize the juice on some of these. But so I got Barber, Gamrot, and Morose. And then I think Jake Mandolina, I think he's gonna finish. Well, I don't know if he's gonna necessarily finish. I actually do like it to finish, but I haven't found a way to get there yet. But so I threw him in there, and then Despain, I think he's gonna come in and probably throw a knockout in the first round. I think he's got some ridiculous stat of like 3 of his fights ended in like 19 seconds total between all 3 of them. So he's certainly got the knockout power, and yeah, so I wrapped them all up for plus 420 parlay. Go figure, plus 420 too.
Let's go. That's a great number here to put us to bed with, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So we got a big UFC card. Of course, the boys will be streaming with Pub Sports Radio. We got the chat, the link in the chat for the contest to enter, guys. $100 free entry. What are you doing? Take the info Jeff's just giving you here. Make a couple extra selections. And get that thing entered tonight so you don't forget tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the UFC move forward here. Jeff, we appreciate you coming on. Coming off that big 2-1. We know we missed you last week with the LFA event, but you certainly came with the goods today. Let's see if we get paid. Tell them what you got going on, where they can find you, and what's in the world of JM Hockey 19.
Well, as Mike had mentioned earlier, you can follow me on X, JM Hockey 19. Probably going to be rolling a live show again tomorrow, giving out a pick for each of the fights. I know a lot. I'm actually, like I said, I'm excited about this card. I had a hard time picking. I saw Swiss was saying I had put my picks in there. I usually put them in for the Pub Sports contest. I usually put them in early as I'm just going through, because if I get tied up with something and I at least want to be in the contest, give myself a shot. But a lot of times as I look further into these fights, I do change my picks up as it goes on. But yeah, so probably doing this, some kind of a live stream tomorrow. You can, if you're interested, you can find out. I'll probably tweet it out on X, and yeah, that's about it. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, let's go. Let's get that cash. We appreciate you sharing your hard work with us here. We got to get to the window and get paid. That's what it's all about there. So you guys have a nice little Saturday game plan. If you're going to be out and about traveling, throw those picks in there. If you're going to be watching the event, at least you know you have a little game plan to work with to get paid. Let's go out there and get it done, guys. Hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. And you know we appreciate everybody rolling out here. Nanya, Swigbet, Subhuman Gaucho, O.E., Fernando Mendoza, Nasty Nate there, Mr. Trifecta. Your boys let me down last night, Nasty Nate, but that's okay. Kelly V says, thanks, Jeff. Liquor store in the house, guys. All you came out today and all week long to rock and roll. We got to go back and get this cash now so that we can keep rolling into this weekend, guys. Have yourselves a fortunate, blessed weekend. Get that cash. Go out and register on that Pub Sports Radio contest. And while you're there, become a member. $9.99 a month. Get you gold 2 times a week. They got virtual horse racing, your chance to win $50. Discounts in the pub store and all kinds of member exclusives. Shout out to my homie T on the 1s and 2s. Great week in the books, guys. Get that cash. Good luck with your bets and stay pubbing, baby. Get that money.